Hello, my name is Hidayah Amin and I'm an author of children's books and non-fiction books. Today, I will be reading a story from this book, The Malay Annals, Attack of the Garfish and Other Adventures. This book is part of the Pop Lit for Kids series published by World Scientific Education. The original writer for the Malay Annals is Tun Sri Lanang, and I retold this story for you. There are 6 stories in this book. The illustrations in this book are done by Eliz Ong. I will be reading the story called Attack of the Garfish. Early one morning in Singapore, Nelayan, the fisherman, was walking to the beach. The breeze was cool and pleasing. It reminded him of when he used to fly his huge colorful kites on windy days. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. His kite would sail in the sky for hours. Oh, how I miss those carefree days, he thought. Nelayan hung his fishing net casually over his shoulder, whistling while he walked. Suddenly, he heard people shrieking in terror. He saw some of his friends running towards the shore in great panic. "Toda! Garfish!" the people shouted. Nelayan saw groups of garfish attacking the fishermen. These ferocious fish had long jaws and sharp teeth. The fish were seriously injuring the fishermen who were pushing their boats out to sea. Nelayan knew that garfish lived close to the shore, but he never knew that there were so many of them. Oh no! Could this be punishment for the recent killing of holy man Tun Jana Khatib? Nelayan thought as he rushed frantically to save his friends. Tun Jana Khatib had been a highly respected man with unbelievable magical powers. "Watch me split this betel palm tree in two," Tun Jana Khatib had once said. Wham! Crash! Boom! He did just that by simply touching the trunk. His great powers, however, made people fear and distrust him. So one day, he was ambushed and killed. Before dying, Tun Jana Khatib vowed a terrible curse on the island. "Let a disaster befall Singapore," he uttered before breathing his last. "Ah! Help! Help!" The sights and sounds of bleeding fishermen crying on the shore frightened the lion and brought him back to the present. Without a second to waste, he sprang into action. The lion threw his fishing net onto the beach and ran to help the fishermen escape to land. Word got to Paduka Sri Maharaja, the king of Singapore, that the island was being attacked by slender enemies from the sea. "Guards, prepare my elephant," said the king. The king rode his elephant to the beach anxiously. When the king reached the beach, he saw that the sand had been soaked red from the many dead bodies. The smell of so much blood made the lion throw up. The garfish continued charging towards the shore, splashing wildly. "We must stop the attack! Prepare a Betis barricade," said the king. What is Betis? You may be wondering. In the Malay language, Betis can mean one of two things: a type of tree or the calves of your legs. Whether the king meant the tree or the calves is unclear. But what do you think? The king's men quickly lined up, using their muscular calves to ward off the crazed garfish attack. Unfortunately, the garfish continued stabbing the men to death. The remaining men on the beach feared for their lives. "Ah, no!" they howled in pain. "Run! Save yourselves!" Everyone seemed to be shouting. The king shouted angrily, "Cursed are those cowards who run away!" A small voice then said to the king, "Your Majesty, Why not use banana trunks instead? The voice belonged to a boy who looked like he was 7 years old. The boy, known as Hang Nadim, had been watching from afar. It was not common for a king to receive advice from children. However, as the king was desperate to save Singapura, he agreed to try out Hang Nadim's suggestion. He instructed his men to cut down the banana trunks and erect them side by side on the shoreline to form a fence. Whoosh! 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 The Garfish launched wave after wave of attack. Only this time, their jaws got stuck into the banana trunks. They could not escape. Go! Kill the enemies! Bellowed the king victoriously. Charging forward, the king's men killed the wriggling Garfish. Singapura was finally saved. The king could not stop smiling. He thanked Hang Nadim for helping him stop the Garfish attack. He invited the boy to the palace. He wanted to give this young hero an award for his smart plan that has saved Singapura. Come to my palace tonight, the king said to Hang Nadim. Meanwhile, in the palace, Pembesar Raja, the king's advisor, became jealous. Your Majesty, that child is very clever and popular with the people. He will be a threat to the throne when he grows up, the advisor whispered to the king. The king's eyes grew wider and wider as he listened to his advisor's words. Other palace officials also warned the king that the people of Singapura had already begun telling stories of how the king had been outsmarted by a child. Psst! Did you hear how a boy was cleverer than the king? Really? How could that be? It's true. The boy taught the king what to do. Rumors flew everywhere on the tiny island called Singapura. The king's face turned red with anger. He stood up and shouted a single terrible command, disturbing the peace of the palace. Have Hang Nadim killed, ordered the king. Dressed in his finest clothes, Hang Nadim went to the palace to attend the award ceremony that had been organized in his honor. He was thinking of all the delicious food he would get to eat. Instead of being welcomed by palace officials, the guards dragged him away without a single word. Wait, what did I do? Please, where are you taking me? Hang Nadim screamed in terror. Hang Nadim struggled to escape, but the guards held him with all their might. Some people believe that Hang Nadim was stabbed many times by the palace guards and left to die. Others believe that Hang Nadim was put in a sack, chained, and thrown into the river. Splash! Even today, when the wind sighs and the water laps, some people claim to hear chains clanking in the Singapore River. Whether or not you believe them, the story of Hang Nadim, a clever boy who saved Singapura from Garfish attack, remains one of the favorite stories from the beloved Malay Annals. Did you know? The barricade of banana trunks was believed to have erected in a place now called Tanjong Pagar, or Cape of Sticks in Singapore. Until the next story time, bye!